And here we come, off the turn, and here with the call is Russ Dowd.
Raleigh, they rumble down to the line. Green flags are flying, and it is Don Sandow who leads them into turn number 1. Scott Foster already down through the infield. Scott hangs on, brings the car under control. We remain under green. Everybody's doing okay. Here comes Fred LaForge down on the inside with car number 3. Fred takes over the lead as they exit turn number 4. He will be listed as the first leader, but the yellow flag is out. We have a spin. It is the 20. Very good. Thank you very much, Barry. And that's always a tough one when you lose the oil pressure. All right, green flag's back out. Let's try it one more time. Don Sandow will again jump out into the lead. Fred LaForge is right there. Fred wastes no time looking to the inside. Puts the throttle down, and LaForge will emerge as the leader off the second turn. This time, Sandow holds tough on for the second position. We round turn number 4. We come down to complete the first lap, and we've got them spinning up in turn 4, but miraculously, Rich Gautreau and Herb Bennett came together. They got their act straightened out, and we remain under green. Down the backstretch, LaForge, but we've got the yellow flag out. Yellow flag is out.
All right, let's look for our restart. And some laggards in the field, but they're going to be left behind as we get the green flag. Here we go.
Down across the line, LaForge jumps out in front.
LaForge has been running strong all night long, so he'll be a tough man to beat. Bobby Skinger also looking good. Car 78 moving up on the outside. Will bid for the number 2 spot.
His dad said earlier tonight, all we need is a little luck. And this may be the night as Skinger gets hooked up in that high groove and looks to move out in front. He gets by the 82. And we continue to work our way around this half mile. Look at the traffic in the middle and back of this pack. Raleigh, incredible wheel-to-wheel racing as the late models now are stretched out nearly a quarter mile. Fred LaForge back down across the stripe. Bobby Skinger runs next. Those are the top 2 at the moment. But you can see many of the heavy hitters are slowly but surely threading the needle up through the pack. Nick Bazzano doing very well.
Boissonneau got sideways, and we don't know who that is in the smoke back there, but he spun to avoid contact with Boissonneau.
All right, yellow is out.
See Kenny. He has it all on videotape for you.
Old race drivers don't
I want to hear
fade
this
away.
Now.
They just move to the top of the announcer's booth.
Okay.
Okay. There could have been some other great lines there, but green flag is back out, and thank heaven for a little favors. It is LaForge who jumps out in front once again. Bobby Skinger is right there knocking at the door. Skinger now looks down low as they exit turn 2. Down the back straightaway they go. Skinger challenges for the lead. Right there waiting in the wings is Bim Adams with the 16. And Jim Peterson also begins to make his presence felt with the 17. Skinger now right alongside of LaForge as they run 1-2 back to turn 1.
Zantarski gets a little assist, and around he goes, gets clipped lightly in the rear as the yellow comes out. The 97 of Renshaw goes spinning. Well, Zantarski, our defending champion, going around in turn 2.
Last year, Chuck Zantarski and the entire Captain's Galley crew could do no wrong. Everything they touched turned to gold. It was indeed a case of the Midas touch, if you will, for the year. And this year certainly has not been a disaster, but it has not had that same feel that 1991 had. And that happened so...
Barry can find out what's going on, but in any case, we know he's heading for the pit, so he's obviously got a problem. The 06 of Steiner, also in the infield, and he's pulling to a halt.
All right, very good. Just as Barry finishes, the green flag is back out. as the 06 is in the infield pit area. I'll tell you about that a little later on. Bobby Skinger leads the field into turn number 1, and Fred LaForge, Raleigh, is right there along with the 16 of Bim Adams, the 17 of Jim Peterson. Top 4 cars run nose to tail, elbow to elbow. Here they come once again off of turn 4 as the yellow flag flies with car number 91 down here on the main, on the infield, right at the main straight for notification of officials. Green flag back out. And the 78 of Bobby Skinger once again jumps out in front. Fred LaForge, tough character here tonight, holding on for that second spot. Bim Adams right there with the LaFramboise well drilling, car number 16. LaForge again forges right up alongside of Skinger. But Bobby is playing it tough tonight. He has the advantage.
Brad Boissonneau into the infield. No contact, he just went spinning.
And he sits there apparently waiting this one out.
And now the caution flies. This year on 3 consecutive Friday nights. Back in May. But hurry up and join the back of the pack.
We'll find out. All right. Green flag is out.
Oh,
and
LaForge.
Boy, what a great start for Fred LaForge. Fred LaForge and Jim Peterson jump on the throttle very, very early. That puts a lot of pressure on Bobby Skinger as he has a serious amount of ground to try to make up. LaForge wants to pick up his second win of the year. Jim Peterson looking for his first, as is Skinger. Same applies for Bim Adams. We go back to the 21 before we find another winner, and that is the Shark of Greco.
I think he has the hottest car tonight, and I would think he'll be a man to be reckoned with before this event's over.
He certainly is running like he is on rails with that automobile. Greco has been a serious threat all year long. Fred LaForge, Jim Peterson, the 78 of Bobby Skinger, run 1, 2, and 3. And then it is the 21.
John Ledger breaks out of the pack now to take over the 5th spot. Chuck Doherty moves right in behind him. Jim Avlogianis on his back bumper.
Skinger challenging Peterson for the 2nd spot as they cross the stripe one more time. 8 laps up on the scoreboard. Skinger with a good run underneath now makes the move off of turn 2, and he's got it. Chuck Doherty gets down very, very low. He picks up the spot. Skinger, just when he thought had rid himself of Jim Peterson, finds Peterson right back there as the yellow flag is out one more time. Car number 1 has spun over on the 2nd turn. Scott Morris, Connecticut Waste Machine. Now Weeks and Janeski are headed for the pits.
So LaForge will have to prove himself once again. He's done a good job on these restarts, but hey, you got to keep doing it, folks. 25 is the distance.
Pace car's in.
And here we go. Can LaForge do it again? Off the turn they come, and Peterson trying to cope with Mr. LaForge, but can't do it. Forced to drop in behind Fred. So LaForge does it again on the restart. Skinger running 3rd. Then it's Ledger now challenging Greco for that number 4 spot. There's a good battle right there. And Ledger ekes ahead. Here comes Bim Adams right behind Ledger.
Looks like Greco has run into a problem with that car because he was just motivating to the front and now finds himself almost going backwards.
And another spin between 3 and 4. Let's hope he picks up. Yes, he does. And here we come. Membrino involved in that one, and Tatro limping to the infield with a flat tire as the 69 tries to rejoin the crowd. 10 laps now complete.
Tough break for Rich. He continues to lead the balloting in most popular driver category for the late models. Back to the front. Jim Peterson challenges for the lead. Down on the inside, it is the black number 17X for Jim Peterson. Fred LaForge up on the high side, waiting in the wings, just watching all of this. In front of him is Bobby Skinger in the 78. Across the stripe, almost a dead heat. We'd give that one to LaForge, but only by inches. Off the second turn, they'll head down that back straightaway. 550 feet is the distance. And LaForge tries to pull up alongside. Peterson with a slight edge going into the turn. How will it be coming off the corner? Once again, it is Peterson, this time by about a half a car length. Bobby Skinger trying desperately to make a move, but he can't do a thing until Peterson and LaForge settle their squabble. Peterson now has the lead.
And look who's coming alive, by the way, Mr. Zentarski in the number 8, picking them off one at a time.
And Skinger now challenges Peterson. A great move for Bobby Skinger off of turn 4. Peterson had just picked up the lead from LaForge. Skinger waiting in the wings, saw his opportunity, and then he moved in. He's doing the same thing to Peterson that Peterson did to LaForge. Running the low groove, forcing him to the outside of the racetrack. Through 1 and 2, Skinger now stretches it out to a full car length. Car length and a half into turn 3. Bobby Skinger out of New Britain. He brings them back down to the line. This time, 15 up on the Winston Racing Series scoreboard. The laps continue to tick away. 25 is the distance. Tom Butler goes around with car 4 into the...
I'm afraid Mr. Ledger is going to be in problems as he's just moving into the pit area now. We're ready to go back to green. And look who's running in 6th place. Chuck Zentarski working his way from the back. Here we go. And let's see who'll do it this time. Skinger ekes out an edge, but here comes Peterson side by side at the line.
15 down, 10 to go, and Skinger and Peterson once again going at it. Bobby on the inside, Jim up on the high side. Jimmy now has an advantage into 3, but only by inches. Off of 4 they come, down to the line. Peterson by a radiator cap. Now Skinger emerges. And Bobby Skinger grabs the lead for the 3rd time tonight. Jim Peterson runs 2nd. Fred LaForge is 3rd. Some great driving on the parts of all of these guys. Greco gets way out of shape off of turn 4, lights up those rear tires. Skinger, Peterson, LaForge, Chuck Zentarski, Bim Adams, and you can see now that Greco really does have problems with that race car. He's out of it. He's dropped down to the bottom, and I guess he's going to call it a day.
Now all of a sudden he surges back again. He really did some rim riding through 4th turn and then the 1st and 2nd turn. But in any case, up front, it's now Skinger stretching out a little bit. 2 car lengths over Peterson, 3 car lengths back to LaForge, and here comes Zentarski. Polish rocket on the move. Look out. 19 laps now complete.
Field beginning to get stretched out just a little bit. And that luck that Bobby Skinger was looking for earlier may, in fact, be with him tonight. However, Chuck Zentarski has not been heard from up front yet, but that is only moments away as he has now managed to move into the 3rd spot just ahead of Fred LaForge. And the Captain's Galley, car number 8 of our defending champion, is on a roll. Here comes Brad Boisenall down underneath Bim Adams. And Chuck Doherty rumbles by as well. So many of the heavy hitters now headed to the front with only 4 circuits left to go in this 25-lap feature event. Black flag is displayed to car number 97, Gene McLean. Skinger with a terrific lead now. He has about a 5-car length advantage over Peterson. Looking for his first win of the season here at the Stafford Speedway. And I believe his first win, period.
Boissonneau and Doherty in a good battle for that number 5 spot.
I believe the black flag was also issued to car number 82 for Nick Bozzano. However, Jim Janeski is, or rather the 97, both 97s are pulling in. So we may have a little problem there. Rodney Renshaw and Gene McLean. Meanwhile,
one more to go. And Mr. Skinger is looking good.
He is. Off of turn number 2 and down the back straightaway. Bobby Skinger, it looks like Lady Luck, finally strapped herself into car number 78. And Bobby Skinger will come home victorious here tonight, followed by Jim Peterson, Chuck Zentarski, Fred LaForge, Brad Boissonneau, Chuck Doherty, Jim Mavlajanis, Scott Foster, Cliff Stakey, and Bim Adams.
Well done by Bobby Skinger. Had to withstand several restarts and managed to pull it off with some very fine driving, to be sure.
Here comes the winner. The J.G. Poulin Drywall, car number 78, Starstruck Sing-Along Lounge, sponsors for Bobby Skinger. All the pictures taken in victory lane, the trophies handed out, and then Bob will climb out of that race car and have a word with Barry Simons. Very special moment in the life of a race driver. No matter how many times you roll into victory lane, it's never enough. Ladies and gentlemen, for Bobby Skinger.
There's a happy fella, Bobby. So nice to see you here on winner's rostrum. What was your opinion of the race?
It was very difficult because the clutch was slipping in the car. It made me look real bad on a couple restarts, so I knew I had to get back to the lead to get up front so I could set my own pace on the restarts. So I learned once. I got whacked from behind. It helped me put it in gear. So tonight we had a lucky night. We've had too many unlucky nights. Tonight was our night, and I'd like to dedicate this win to my fiancée, Lynn. We're getting married in a couple months, and it's been a long time waiting for this one. It's been a hard year. I'd also like to dedicate it to my owner of the car, Junkie Poulin. Without his support, I wouldn't have been able to make it here this year. Weddings are too expensive, so I'm just like, it's great. We needed this one.
You're a happy fella. It was a well-deserved win. It was beautifully driven. Congratulations on the impending doom. Thing that's happening in a couple of months' time. Bobby Skinger, again, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Bobby Skinger, ladies and gentlemen.